Lesson 3, you will see how to use the basic signs with a slight derivation to show a bent elbow or knee, to help in recognizing demi and grand plie as well as attitude positions. In addition, we'll talk about contact signs to show retiré at the side, devant, and derrière. We've talked predominantly about positions, so we're now able to recognize first, second, third, fourth, fifth with the feet and the various positions with the arms. But now we need to think about moving and bending. So whenever you see a position here, this is going to assume, if I just take a basic first position in bras bas, and we assume classical technique, the knees are straight and the arms are gently curved but more or less extended. Now we need to recognize demi-plie, grand plie, retiré, things where limbs are bent. And to do that, we go back to the basic signs. You'll remember that this level sign was straight across, was a horizontal line. This is a forward sign, and this is a behind sign. And as soon as we start thinking about bending, we're going to relate to elbows and knees. We take these same signs and we place just a little bit of a cross on it that way. And the dot actually becomes an X. And as soon as you see one of these three, which are really derivations from the basic signs, you'll know that we're talking about a bent limb, an elbow or a knee. Predominantly, at the basic level, we'll be talking about knees. So I'll show you now first position. Well, let's take this position over here. Here's first position. Now you'll notice when I bend my knees, I'm standing in first. When I bend my knees are going lower. My whole body is actually lowering, isn't it? So I will take the level sign and drop it just below the knee line. You'll also notice that the knees are apart. Now, again, I'm in a perfect world, and I'm assuming that we have 180-degree turnout. I can also show these bent knees apart but slightly forward. Say, for example, I'm at a grade 1 level or a grade 2 level with 45-degree turnout. Then I would show, here's my first position, that the knees were apart but slightly in front. And I'm still using my in front sign with the little cross. So that tells me that I've got less turnout. Mostly when we're notating ballet, we like to assume the 180-degree turnout as much as we can. So I think you'll find that this is the sign that you see most often for demi-plie. You'll also notice that when we do a grand plie, the knees are going even closer to the ground and the heels will release off the floor. So going back to our theory that we learned before about showing first position flat with the line underneath the foot line or superimposed or on top, sitting on the line, showing flat feet, demi-point, and full point, we're now going to need the demi-point position to show grand plie. So I'm going back to my ideal world with my knees directly out to the side. And the grand plie position, you'll notice, is with the feet on demi-point and the knees lower and slightly wider than I showed before. So that will be the bottom of my grand plie in first. In second position, we all know that the heels will not come off the floor in grand plie, so if I show my knees just below the knee line for demi-plie and slightly wider and lower for grand plie, but I'll still keep my feet flat on the floor. Now I'll use fifth position of feet, and now I'll show you a sequence. I'm in fifth with my right foot in front. Here's my demi-plie with my knees wider and just below the line. And my grand plie with the feet on demi-point and the knees lower. And if I want to recover from that position, I would just place my feet back on the floor and then the absence of the bent knee sign would tell me that my limbs were straight. So this pattern is fifth position with the right foot in front, demi-plie, grand plie, back up to demi-plie, and now you'll see that the knees are not bent anymore, and therefore I'm in a straight position. And I can do the same in fourth position or third position. Now in fourth position we have a unique situation because now I've got a foot in front and a foot behind. So I'll do it again with the right foot in front. And this is the same pattern that I showed in fifth position. I think I'm going to move these two signs a little bit closer together because we want our fourth to be more or less opposite fifth position. So here I don't have any bent signs at all. Now I want to show a demi-plie. Because I've got one foot in front and one foot behind, my knees are not going to be directly to the side of my body. One knee is going to be in front of the line of my body, and the other knee will be slightly behind the line of my body. And so I'll be using these two bend signs. And you'll notice now that I've put the position on demi-point. Back up to flat feet. And then the absence of the bend sign will tell me that I'm with straight legs. So I've got fourth position with the right foot in front, fourth position with a demi-plie, in a grand plie, therefore the heels are off the floor and I'm in a demi-point position with my feet, back to the demi-plie, and then straight legs. Now just cast your mind back to the closing signs that we worked on previously. And that was, we had talked about closing in third, in fifth, and in first. I just want to really just touch on first position at this point and remind you of the contact sign that we had discussed. So there's my first position, and remember we said that this is a contact sign, and it tells me that something on the right is touching. So this is the right foot closing in first. And we can use the contact sign to show retire. So if I place my left foot on the floor and my right foot is contacting, I know it's the right because it's on the right side of this dotted line and it's slanting towards the right. I don't need to show a bent knee because there's no other way for my foot to touch the supporting leg. If I want to show that the position is touching in front, then I'm going to condition my contact sign with an in front, like so. And I can also condition that to be in the back. And these are positions that these are signs rather that we commonly use for pirouette. This is the right foot under the knee in front and the right foot behind. You'll notice that my contact sign is what we call hanging from the line, which means it's not level with my kneecap, it's just below. Another level that we commonly use is that, which is what we would use for jeté. So it's contacting the calf muscle at the back. I can also place it in front, or if I wanted it to just touch at the side, I would simply use the contact sign. So now we've opened up the possibility of your recognizing various types of pliés and retires. One more position in ballet that uses the bent knee sign, or the bent signs I should say, for legs is the attitude, in front or behind. So what I'm going to do now is to show you my leg bent, my knee is bent in front, and it's quite high. It's above my knee, and it's about level just below my hip. And usually in attitude, the leg overcrosses the center line, and we have a way of showing that. My foot will be lower, and I'll use this cross-out sign here. And what this tells me is that although I've written a sign on the left side of my dotted line, it's not a left thing, it's a right thing, it's a right foot. This is a knee because it's bent, and this is in front of my body but on the wrong side. So if I show you sideways on, so you can see, I have my leg, my knee is slightly below my hip, my foot is lower, but it has crossed my center line, and that's how I write an attitude devant. I can do the same thing for an attitude derrière. So I'll have a bent knee, and let's make this one a little bit lower. So there's my bent knee at the back, and there's my foot at the back on the wrong side of my body. And that way I can see that I've got attitude devant with the right foot here, and attitude derrière with the right foot in that position. Now we're going to show you some examples, again, with the dancer as well as the notation so that you can compare the two. In this example, we're using the contact sign to show that the right foot is touching the left leg at the side. Notice that the position is below the knee line and above the foot line, creating a low retiré at the side. Michelle's arms are in second position, just below the shoulder. Now, by adding an in front sign, we've placed the same low retiré devant. By showing an open circle on the same contact sign, the right foot is now going to contact the supporting leg at the back. Now Michelle is showing a full retiré with the left leg. Notice that in the notation, the contact sign is hanging from the knee line, and that tells us that the contact is just below the kneecap. Her arms are in second position. Now, by using the in front sign as well as the contact sign, we are showing that the left foot is under the knee in front, a common placement for pirouettes. With the use of the open circle, we've shown what we sometimes refer to as pirouette position or retiré derrière, and the arms are still in second position. By standing in first position with the arms in bras bas, Michelle can demonstrate a demi-plie in first position. Notice in the first frame the absence of the bent knee signs, showing that her legs are straight. In the second frame, the bent knee signs are written just below the knee line because of the drop of level in her body. And in the third frame, the bent knee signs are gone, showing that she has stretched her legs. With the arms in first position, Michelle is standing in fifth with the right foot in front and is demonstrating a demi-plie, continuing into a grand plie, stretching into a demi-plie, and then a full stretch. Notice at the depth of the grand plie that we've notated the feet in fifth position but on the demi-point.